If I had to summarize this trip, there's not too many words that really need to be said besides powerful.
Hats come off when heads get bowed. A home team kneels when the other team's down. When a hearse drives by, pull to the side of the road. Yeah, around here everyone knows. So bless your heart can cut real deep, like a pocket knife hard carved in an oak tree. Your word and your name means everything. Around here we speak blue collar blue, Marlboro red. 6 days of work, 1 day of rest. Boots on the ground, prayers in the air on Sunday. Yeah, we speak country.
This really was born out of the last event that we did, and when Matt and I got back to the airport in San Antonio, I showed him a couple of videos, and one of the videos was Justin Menchaca. And after he watched it, he took off his glasses and he just looked up and said, "What are we doing?" Andy and I hadn't talked but maybe once, weeks and weeks after the first hunt, and he said, "What do you got coming up as far as hunting?" And I said, "Well, I've got some ideas." I said, "I've got an idea of taking a Green Beret and a Navy SEAL and possibly bringing Matt back in." And he said, "Do you have a ranch yet?" And I said, "Honestly, I haven't even put the wheels into motion to get the donors together." And he said, "Well, I'm going to want to talk about doing that one here." So here we are. The way that I plan these events, the whole goal is to make it good for everybody. These guys have all lost a lot, whether that be lives lost or abilities. They've all been impacted in a massive way. And I just think it's a dream to be able to put men that have been through what they've been through together and see what comes out of it.
In the military, we're never alone. Like, you don't do anything alone. And then guys get out, myself included, and they isolate. And they don't ask for help. They don't call their friends. They don't call anybody. They don't go see a therapist. Your mental health just tanks. And it's not going to go up until something changes, until you start eating better and working out and having a more positive mindset and trying to connect again with other humans.
My hope with every event is that, number one, that there's relationships created that weren't there beforehand. And number two, that they connect and do something together in the future, with or without me.
My very first veterans outing or trip, I was very hesitant to go on. I didn't know what it'd be like. I wasn't sure who would be there, and I was just pleasantly surprised. It's about reconnecting with the guys, and I felt something there that I hadn't felt in a long time after being away from the guys and the groups and the friendships and camaraderies you've built throughout the years. And you find that and you feel it almost instantaneously when you're around these guys. They feel like your friends. You feel like you've known each other forever. It gets you out of your slump. It keeps you off the couch.
Different types of experiences bring people out of their darkness. And I know that's not a specific statement, but it's not specific. Like, equine therapy can work. Art therapy can work. Functions like this can work with music and hunting and fishing and kayaking and skiing and, you know, all the things. Everything can work, but it has to be a good amount of time, and there has to be some intentionality with it. It has to be the right setting. People have to feel comfortable. Like, there's a lot of things, pieces that need to fall in place for this to occur, but it can occur in many different ways.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Matt Heath!
And denim jeans, the speed up guitar, and brand new strings that sang my heart out. For those strangers, how could they ever even know?
I always consider myself an entertainer. The veterans are going out there risking their lives for us, so they're the true heroes.
His biggest difficulty and frustration is his expressive aphasia. So he knows exactly what he wants to say. It's just putting those thoughts into words. Yet he still gets up every single day and he still works out. And that just further shows and proves like the kind of man my husband is.
Justin Menchaca and Matt Hughes have been through such a similar experience. One was a wreck, one was war. But those guys have a lot of the same similarities, and there's no doubt that they're going to be great together.
Garrett called me one day and goes, man, do you know a guy by the name of Justin Menchaca? And I said, I actually do. I said, I met him before I met anyone in this group. And he goes, man, I think that's who we need to take out. I said, that is definitely who we need to take out.
Never been much of a go-out party crowd drinker. More of a sit alone on a creek bank sunset thinker.
I had a relatively easy transition to begin with. I think it sort of got worse later, but at the beginning, I went right from the military to starting a company with veterans, and one of them was a guy that I was a SEAL with, but it didn't do too well, and learned a lot from that, kind of learned a lot from the failures. Then I went out west, and when I went out west, I sort of lost that, I lost the physical connection to my guys, to my people. And the transition started to kick in, or that kind of like lack of purpose, lack of meaning started to kick in. And it wasn't until I started to volunteer my time as a Special Olympics ski instructor did I find that meaning again. And it really changed me from a person who wanted to hurt people to a person who wanted to help people.
Monty Heath is a former Navy SEAL. Met him 5-6 years ago. I actually took him on a hunt with another veteran, double amputee Marine, and unfortunately Monty never received his animal, and it was the only time that I've ever taken anybody on a hunt that didn't receive their animal. And with where Monty's been throughout this world and who he's provided executive protection for, or Navy SEAL, he's a perfect fit.
It was Veterans Day, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I get a phone call from him, and not thinking anything because the hours over there are different here, and he said, hey, there was an accident, I got hurt, I have all my limbs, and I'm alive, okay? They're gonna be sending me home, but I wanna come back. The heart and the PTSD is healing. We get together every 12th November, all of the unit, and come together and remember each other, remember those that we lost, and love one another, and that helps more than anything. So
Sam has been serving alongside me for, I would say, 5 years now. I was actually pretty excited because he does so much and ultimately receives so little.
He's the guy that you go to, and he's going to do it. He's the guy that'll drive all the way across this country if you need him.
The musicians really create the space for everybody to feel safe and get vulnerable. And vulnerability creates connection. That's the whole goal of all of this, is to connect.
Garrett, this year, he was like, man, I'm going to put you kind of in charge of music. Get some guys that you think are the right fit for this thing. You know what we're looking for. And so I got my two buddies from Otagoville, Alabama, Reed and Will Shackelford. They got a band, they go by Shackelford Lane. Great guys, great storytellers. And I thought, man, why don't I just present this opportunity to them? And man, they took it.
He invited us out here, and we didn't have any question about coming. We were like, yeah, we're definitely going to Texas, to hang out at a hunting camp. Now we got out here and met all these great people and been having the best time.
We really didn't know what we were getting into. We knew we were coming to a camp in Texas, and there's supposed to be some barbecue and some music and some folks out here, and we had no idea it was going to be such cool people with such cool stories and such an opportunity.
Also brought my good friend Justin Biltonen, country artist, another great lyricist, and just a good dude all around. He just happened to be in another band that's pretty popular. I'll let you check that out. We just happened to just talk to him a little bit about it. He said, man, hit me up when I get back in town, we'll see what happens. And
I think it's extremely important for all of us to keep kind of coming together for these guys, being that shield and sacrificing a lot, whether it's in combat or just being away from their families and what all that entails. It's important that we honor them for that.
course. You know, music brings people together. So when we have all these musicians here like Cody Hibbert and some guys who drove in from Alabama last night just to be here for this event, that's just a cherry on top of everything. I mean, that's just what we do for a living, and I love playing music, sharing our stories, but to see how they can relate to our songs and our words that we sing in a different kind of way that I never thought, it's pretty inspirational.
Tyson Deaver's not a veteran, but he inspires these guys too. Seeing him operate, he's been living like this for 20 years next year, March 11th of 2005, so 25 will be 20 years.
Not every day is going to be positive, not every day is going to be, 100%, but it's those days where you have to dig a little deeper that make it all worth it, because you make it through that and you're like, all right, that's an accomplishment. I didn't even feel like getting out of bed this morning, and look what I've accomplished during the day. It's hard to live in a negative world when your focus is on helping others, and so it's just something that I try to live by. And when I'm down at my lowest, my first thought is, what can I do for somebody else? Because that's going to come back to you down the road.
So morning of, when I seen Chalk, give him a big hug, and he goes, I got 2 empty stand-up freezers right now. He said, I need full. I said, that's awesome, let's do it. We could hear that bull elk just inside the thicket. We just could never see him. And there was just one last trail that we were gonna try to run up, and as we did, there was trees to the left, trees to the right, just straight thicket. And this bull elk comes walking out, and he was about 5 steps away from the tree line, and he would have been gone, and he happened to turn just at the last second, and Justin hit an incredible shot, dropped the bull. My main thing that I wanted to see, I was looking in the side mirror the whole time of the truck. I wanted to see that smile. And man, we dropped that elk and he knew it was down. I was just looking at that mirror, and you could just see him just lighting up.
No words can describe how grateful, just grateful. Garrett just setting up everything, and just the Circle V, just awesome people, just nice ranch, just no words, to describe this paradise,
You really can't tell the emotion that he has, but deep down, you know what it means to him. When I walked up and saw him staring, all I could do was pat him on the back, turn him around and give him a big hug.
It's heartwarming to know that he survived through such a tragic event, and then we were able to bring him out here and present him with the equipment that we presented him with, and allowing him to go harvest a great animal. I'm hoping I get to see Justin again, because he really is a neat guy.
So by 9 a.m. for Justin to have his elk down, we knew we were in a good spot. And next up was Monty Heath.
I wasn't too specific in what I wanted. I just wanted a cool mount and good meat. Saw this particular fallow deer. I basically just thought about pulling the trigger, and that light trigger just went and was on target, thankfully. And he just kind of slumped, never got up. He'll feed my boys for a long time.
Monty gets up there, and something about everyone that we hunt with, man, Monty kneeled down, petted the animal, and it was almost like a thank you to the animal. He stood up, was back to go, and he's like, I'm gonna carry this to the truck. Again, you're not gonna tell a Navy SEAL kind of what he's gonna do, so he picked that thing up, put it back on his back, and loaded it up in the truck himself.
When you look at them and you see the look on their face, just the joy, the happiness, and that's why I do this job.
We come back with Monty's animal. We got everybody kind of back into go mode, and got Sam in the truck. And of course I said, man, what are we looking for? He said, man, I just took my son out. He just got his first buck. He said, when I was out there though, there was a 40-inch axis that walked out. Man, it was just one of them things that just got me wanting an axis buck. And I said, well, we'll go for it, we'll try it. So we pull up one trail, and we're looking hard, we're trying to find something, and Sam goes, stop. And Sam gets the gun and just gets it right on it. And the whole time that he's on this animal, I have no clue what he's looking at.
All I could see was the antlers, and like I said, it was facing directly at me. I followed the antlers down, and there was a nose and eyes. The animal had just turned to the right, and there was one clearing through the brush. and took a shot and connected.
Same thing with Sam. Walked straight up to the axis, put his hand on it, petted it. Again, another just thank you to nature for providing, you know, and it was awesome. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better morning.
I didn't even let my wife know I was here. We were out in the skinning shed taking care of the animal, and I realized I looked at my phone and my wife had texted me if I made it yet. So I took a picture of, you know, the axis and replied, yes, I'm here.
Couple zip codes, hand-me-down posts. Ron is so excited.
The reason I come out is because my mentors charged me to pass it on as freely as it was given to you. So when I can and when I can afford to, I like to get out and be among my brothers and sisters, my people, the veterans. So it's more therapeutic to me than it may be to you guys. So I appreciate being involved and being asked to come out.
Started to donate my time as a Special Olympics ski instructor, and specifically working with like Down syndrome kids. And that's really what changed me from a person, like an angry kid that wanted to hurt people, to a person that wanted to help people. And the last like 10 years, I've been helping veterans with PTSD, traumatic brain injuries, military sexual trauma. And as of like probably 2-3 years ago, started incorporating first responders as well.
Yeah, I believe we've learned from these guys about how it's good to be good to your brother, and it's good to show some compassion and be honest sometimes, maybe.
They got a uphill climb to go the rest of their life for us, and it's kind of the least we can do. I don't even know if important's the right word. Necessary may be a better word.
I've never seen anything like it. It's incredible. All the facilities, the grounds, everything's beautiful. The folks have been great. Everybody that works here is awesome. And, just getting out and riding with everybody and seeing what they have out here, it's incredible.
I've always said that the hunting becomes secondary to what happens with the community, the unity, and the connection. And knowing that these guys need a continued mission more than anything, and give them something to look forward to, that's what feeds my heart, is knowing that not only do they have something to look forward to, but I do too.
Say you're sick of brake lights, late nights, all this concrete cutting into skylines.
I've never seen anybody give so much and stay out of it so much and continue to want to do more like I've seen out of Andy Ball. I've never met a woman in my life that's making a bigger difference so quietly than Danette. She continues to stay involved. She continues to check up on us, and I want to say thank you to Roadway Specialties and Danette Schulten.
And Hanner Chevrolet, who we've worked with in the past. One of their salespeople had 2 boys with spina bifida that we got to take and do something very, very special with. The Hanner family doesn't just donate to what I'm doing. They're making a massive difference. I can't tell you how grateful I am for them. I let Matt Jones know that we had a budget. I mean, that we had some funds that we could take care of this camo this year, and he made sure that both Monty and Justin were decked out with 6 Sight. And whenever I called him a week before we got here, I was like, hey man, I need to know how much this is going to cost. And he said, my aim is to deliver this at no cost, brother. And he did. I was at another buddy of ours, Clay Hollis Country Show, and I met Clint Linky with Linky's Barbecue there in Wiley, Texas. And I was a little nervous because I thought there was going to be 15 to 20 people here. But I called him and said, hey man, I said, this is going to be more like 28 to 30 people. And he said, all right, I'm going to call you in a couple of days and see if that's 35 or 40. He said, I'm bringing more meat than you can handle anyway. Blacks has become a tradition, especially when Matt comes into town. And it just so happened that Brandon Anderson over at Black's Barbecue, the general manager, his father is the general manager for Tri-City Bud. So they sponsored all the beer for us. Scott and Cecily Casey, Scott's former Army and lives up in Oklahoma. A buddy of mine from high school, out of the blue, invited me to a OU football game, went up and visited him, and we needed to see each other. We haven't seen each other in a long time. And he just slid a blank check across the table for this hunt. So I want to say thank you to them too.
I want to say a special thanks to Mike Foss at Warrior Bonfire for coming on board with us.
Cody Hibbard's all in. I met that guy 3 years ago at a benefit, He handled everything with the artists and more or less communicated with the ranch with everything that was happening and how it was all coordinating, and let me handle what all I've got to handle on the other side. So I'm looking forward to the next one with Hibbert. I've got to work with Zach for as long as I've been in this space. He's got as good an energy as anybody that I've run onto in the music scene, and he can hunt, he can fish, he can cook, he can clean, and he does a really good job of genuinely getting to know these people. The missing piece of the last story was that everybody that's involved is very, very carefully selected. I've thought about this, I've prayed about this, and I've got to plan a lot of these, and I'm thinking about who's going to be the best fit. And Robert Harrington at Bella Media has a vested interest in suicide awareness as well, and many don't know that his father shot and killed a guy that was, and justifiably so, that was special needs, but he could not get over it after he learned that he was special needs, and he took his own life. So with Robert honoring his service through a video, and then continuing on with all of the work that he's done and does, there's no other choice.
And he finally admitted I'm a man. Oh Lord, I'd love to take that ride again.